Hi folks, welcome to Set Apart Homestead. So I get a lot of people commenting and debating about looting and scavenging. And I wanted to kind of cover those topics today and my opinions, just my opinions. And I have expressed in previous videos that I don't think that those are good ideas, or at least to plan for those. And so I will expound on my infinite great knowledge. Not. Just my opinion, which is pretty much everything else I say on here. I make no claims that I'm correct. So my argument against looting and scavenging are that it's not necessarily that they're awful, it's that too many people, and of course this is SHTF, I assume most of you get that, but hey, is that too many people make that kind of part of their plan, adjust my camera a little bit. That's kind of like what they plan for, is that, well, I'll have this much stuff and then the rest that I need, I'm sure I'll be able to pick it up lying around on the ground, or, I know of the grocery store over here, I'll go over there and take the rest of what I need. So my initial problem with whether it's looting or scavenging is that it should never be something that's part of your plan, so that you make the conscious decision to not, prep certain items, to not plan and prepare for certain items with the hopes that you'll be able to find that kind of stuff lying around. To me, that's just poor preparedness. After everything happens, if, you're walking along and there's a car and no one's around and it's, full of guns and ammo, then I guess it is what it is. But don't sit there and say, well, there'll be enough ammunition lying around, so that's where I'll get my ammunition, my resupplies, or something like that, because, you're creating an excuse to not plan and not to prepare for something. So that's my initial first thing. Don't really care for it. Secondly, is that it can be dangerous, especially the looting. If there are people, which there's, most likely will be people around somewhere, and in my opinion, I think there will be some levels of government, regardless if it's local or federal. The idea of going in with, armed force to take supplies is just not a good idea. That means that you're advancing on a, defensive position, which is always gives the offense the disadvantage, unless you just happen to have, all the right equipment, which most you and I won't have. And there's just so many variables. You have to realize it's, after the apocalypse happens, it's not going to be like it is in the movies. I keep saying that. Getting injured isn't like it's going to be in the movies. We put something in it and pack the wound, and, the next day you're up, run around fighting. The possibilities of infection, losing a limb, or, dying are going to be very high. And if you have a family or a team or whatever, and you're not a huge group, most likely, everyone's going to be highly dependent upon the other person, especially in a family situation. So if you go out to loot for things, and you end up getting shot and you're taken out through death or just serious injury, you've made now your family extremely vulnerable. So I don't advocate looting for that reason. It's just, I don't know. I know that many people have this idea of how it's going to be and how just really cool, awesome they are, and their awesome skills and their awesome training and gear and stuff. But when it really happens, I think there's going to be a lot of people realize that it's not going to play out quite like you think. And so going and looting is just, it's always a bad idea. Sorry, I'm dealing with allergies. You see all this beautiful green stuff in the back. Most of it's oak, which is wonderful, except it produces a lot of pollen this time of the year. Anyways, I mean, look around in our world today when there's rioting and stuff and people do looting. You know, yeah, they may get away with some of it, but they get caught. And I'm not of the belief that, you know, whatever could happen is going to completely eliminate all forms of government. I think they're going to be stronger, more powerful, and more threatening, and they're not going to abide by civil rights and constitutional issues that we have now. They don't care, you know. Martial law will set in, and they will have ultimate authority. And if you do not comply, you're dead. Rooster. That's the one I want to get rid of. Anyways, so that's looting. Scavenging, it's a little bit better, but not a lot. It's very easy for someone to set you up so that you're scavenging someone's stuff that they're watching and they're waiting for, you know, it's a trap. It also means that you're having to leave your secure area, you know, your home, your bug out location, wherever it is. And so for me out here, that means I'm going to have to like travel into town or something, and that's just not, you know, to find things to scavenge. You know, now maybe if I hear that a neighbor didn't survive and there's no one down there, you know, yeah, I might go down there and see what I can find to kind of help my family. But again, where my main hang up with the whole scavenging and looting and stuff is that too many people make that part of their plan so that they don't have to worry about prepping and planning, you know, for things. That they'll just, well, I don't have to worry about buying it. I don't have to worry about storing it. I'll just find it lying around. There's no guarantee of that. And I get it. You know, people might try to get real technical. Well, what about if, you know, you find some lumber or a junk pile, a junk dump, you know, dump where people dump stuff. I mean, you find that out here in the country a lot of times where people have dumped a bunch of junk, and the landowner's like, yeah, if you want to go in there and scavenge through it, you know, we don't care. That's a little different, but going into civilization just with that intent, again, you're going to be, you know, putting yourself out in the open. You're going to be vulnerable. You're going to be vulnerable for the people out there that are desperate, that are starving, that are hurting, that are sick, and they see someone, you know, driving around in a vehicle or whatever, and they look pretty healthy, and you look like a pretty good target also. So, you know, I've always said this to people in other videos that, you know, in a real apocalyptic, the end of the world as we know it, Tiawaki, SHTF, whatever term you guys want to use, the first 3 to 6 months are critical. And to me, that's the real hunker down time. That's when all the people that didn't do anything to prepare for stuff are going to start dying off. You know, if you can survive the first 3 and really 6 months, you know, the odds of you surviving are probably pretty good. Diseases and stuff will take out most of the people. Starvation, you know, lack of shelter, water, things like that. So in that time period, you need to hunker down anyways. You know, wherever you're going to be, you need to kind of, in my mind, my opinion, stay put as much as possible, because being out in the open during those first few months is going to be really dangerous. Not that it won't be afterwards, but I think a large enough of the masses will kind of be gone. Things will start to settle down, and then you kind of play it by ear from there on to see what happens. But you know, just don't make that part of your plan. At least that's my opinion. That's my advice. Looting, I don't think, is a good idea at all, because there's no guarantee the person you're taking it from isn't armed or isn't as capable as you are of defending their stuff. So it's just not a good idea. I also have a little bit of a moral problem with that. I understand a lot of people, well, after SHTF, there's no laws. Well, you know, there's still morals. We still answer to the Most High. So I have issues with that. As far as scavenging, I guess there's no moral, dilemma there. But you still have to be careful. It puts yourself in vulnerable situations out in the open, leaving your home, leaving your base of operations. So you need to be careful about that. All right, that is my opinion. Remember, it's not necessarily the correct one, just mine. All right, thank you guys and gals for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.